of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on Sirius XM 87.
I'm Mick Kern with It Happened in Baseball. October 1st, 1932. In the fifth inning of Game 3 of the World Series, Babe Ruth of the New York Yankees, the heart and soul of the franchise, strode to the plate facing Charlie Root of the Chicago Cubs. The score was knotted up at 4 runs apiece. Hearing the jeers from the Chicago faithful, Ruth pointed his bat towards the center field bleachers. Or was it at Root? Or was it at the fans rooting against him? That debate rages on to this day, but one thing is certain. After taking 2 strikes, Ruth walloped the ball, sending it over 440 feet into center field for his 15th and final career postseason home run. The Yankees would go on to win that game 7-5 and a day later completed the sweep of the Cubs. That's what the record books show. What they don't show is whether or not the so-called called shot was truly what it has been called for almost a century. Film from the game failed to shed any definitive light on the matter, and Ruth himself gave varying accounts of that game for the rest of his life. Why let the truth get in the way of a great story? Most baseball folk in attendance that day doubted the tale. What is known as the called shot myth had life breathed into it by overzealous New York sports writers, including some who weren't even at the game. Over time, it became part of baseball lore that the Sultan of SWAT called his own shot that day. Regardless, whether he did so or not, most people understandably believe that if anybody could have called their own home run, it could only have been the Babe. Charlie Root went to his grave insisting there was no called shot. For It Happened in Baseball, I'm Mick Kern.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM sports schedule for Sunday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 9 a.m., Fulham takes on Chelsea with the Fulham feed on Internet 1940, Chelsea on Internet 1925. 9 a.m. Ipswich faces Arsenal, Ipswich on Internet 1945, Arsenal on Internet 1900, national feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 9 a.m. Manchester United faces Wolverhampton, Manchester United on Internet 1965, Wolverhampton on Internet 1995. 11:30 a.m. Leicester faces Liverpool, Leicester on Internet 1950, Liverpool on Internet 1955, national feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. In F1 racing starting at 1 p.m., catch full coverage of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix on Sirius XM and Internet channels 81. In Major League Baseball, 1:35 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Minnesota Twins. Braves on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 842, Twins on Internet 857. 1:35 p.m., Baltimore Orioles take on the Cincinnati Reds. Orioles on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 843, Reds on Internet 847. 1:35 p.m., Boston Red Sox face the Chicago White Sox. Red Sox on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 844, White Sox on Internet 846. 1:35 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the Miami Marlins. Phillies on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 860, Marlins on Internet 855. 1:35 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates face the Cleveland Guardians. Pirates on Sirius 137, XM 179 and Internet 861, Guardians on Internet 848. 1:37 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays face the Seattle Mariners. Blue Jays on Sirius 119, XM 180 and Internet 868, Mariners on Internet 864. 1:40 p.m., Detroit Tigers face the Kansas City Royals. Tigers on Sirius 160, XM 181 and Internet 850, Royals on Internet 852. 1:40 p.m., New York Mets face the St. Louis Cardinals. Mets on Sirius 161, XM 182 and Internet 858, Cardinals on Internet 865. 1:40 p.m., Tampa Bay Rays face the New York Yankees.
What's up, soccer fans, football fans, Manchester United fans from all over the world? Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever it is you're watching from all over the world. Thank you for hanging out with us here. Big shout out to SOP True on TikTok. Make sure you go check out True and what he does over there with the unbelievable goal scoring techniques that he shows, the tactics, all of that stuff. And as well, Sons of a Pitch Soccer and Manchester United content coming very, very soon right there on SOP True on TikTok. Make sure you've checked it out. Make sure you DM True if you want to play EAFC and have him play your games for you to get the best results, the best rewards in the business. Now let's get to the game at hand today. Manchester United up against Wolves. Can they get the victory? It's going to be a tough one, but saving all the pieces for that semifinal against Atletico Bilbao in the Europa League coming up. What a thrilling victory that was. Make sure you check out all of the live content. We had the game live, and we had a recap of the Newcastle game talking about the second leg. True was telling you all about it. So make sure to check out our MUFC Central episodes as well. Go Manchester United, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
For SiriusXM Sports, I'm Ryan Payton. When Secretariat began preparing for his 2-year-old season back in 1972, his connections were not too thrilled with what they had. He was described more as a clumsy and lazy horse than the dominant thoroughbred he would become. In his first race, he finished 4th, the worst result of his career. After winning an allowance race at Saratoga, he went on to win 5 stakes races with jockey Ron Turcotte. His year was so brilliant, he won the American Horse of the Year. His 3-year-old season, however, would be far more spectacular. It began with 2 straight stakes wins, then a hiccup at the Wood Memorial, placing 3rd heading into the Kentucky Derby. His performance there, though, was record-breaking. He became the first horse to complete the mile and a quarter track at Churchill Downs in under 2 minutes, a feat not repeated until 2001. Much of the same occurred at the Preakness, as he won by 2.5 lengths for his 2nd straight win. Only 4 horses competed at the Belmont, and none would come near to Secretariat that day. He won by 31 lengths in 2:24 flat, the fastest mile and a half ever over a dirt track. Secretariat won 4 of his last 6 races in his final win, coming at Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto. In all, he had 16 wins in just 21 starts. Secretariat, one of the best of all time. For SiriusXM Sports, I'm Ryan Payton.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM sports schedule for Sunday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NBA playoffs, 1 p.m., Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Thunder on Sirius and XM channels 86 Internet 900, Grizzlies on Sirius and XM channels 92 Internet 894, National Feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 80. 3:30 p.m. Boston Celtics take on the Orlando Magic. Celtics on Sirius and XM channels 86 Internet 881, Magic on Sirius and XM channels 82 Internet 901. 7 p.m., Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Miami Heat. Cavs on Sirius and XM channels 86 Internet 885, Heat on Sirius and XM channels 81 Internet 895. 9:30 p.m., Houston Rockets face the Golden State Warriors. Rockets on Sirius and XM channels 86 Internet 890, Warriors on Sirius and XM channels 81 Internet 889. In the NHL playoffs, 3 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the New Jersey Devils. Hurricanes on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 924, Devils on Internet 936. 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs take on the Ottawa Senators. Maple Leafs on Sirius and XM channels 167 Internet 946, Senators on Sirius and XM channels 91 Internet 939. 10 p.m., Vegas Golden Knights face the Minnesota Wild. Knights on Sirius 209, XM 219, and Internet 949. Wild on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 933. In NCAA College Baseball, 1 p.m., Michigan State faces Ohio State on XM and Internet 372. 1 p.m., Virginia Tech faces North Carolina, XM and Internet 371. 3 p.m., Mississippi State faces Florida on XM and Internet 374. On the PGA Tour at 1 p.m., catch full coverage of the RBC Heritage Open on Sirius XM and Internet channels 92. In Serie A, 2:45 p.m., AC Milan takes on Atalanta on XM 201. In the UFL, 5 p.m., DC Defenders take on the San Antonio Brahmas on Sirius XM and Internet Channels 83. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM sports schedule for Sunday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NBA playoffs, 1 p.m., Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Thunder on Sirius and XM Channels 86 Internet 900, Grizzlies on Sirius and XM Channels 92 Internet 894, National Feed on Sirius XM and Internet Channels 80. 3:30 p.m. Boston Celtics take on the Orlando Magic. Celtics on Sirius and XM Channels 86 Internet 881, Magic on Sirius and XM Channels 82 Internet 901. 7 p.m., Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Miami Heat. Cavs on Sirius and XM Channels 86 Internet 885, Heat on Sirius and XM Channels 81 Internet 895. 9:30 p.m., Houston Rockets face the Golden State Warriors. Rockets on Sirius and XM Channels 86 Internet 890, Warriors on Sirius and XM Channels 81 Internet 889. In the NHL playoffs, 3 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the New Jersey Devils. Hurricanes on Sirius and XM Channels 91 Internet 924, Devils on Internet 936. 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs take on the Ottawa Senators. Maple Leafs on Sirius and XM Channels 167 Internet 946, Senators on Sirius and XM Channels 91 Internet 939. 10 p.m., Vegas Golden Knights face the Minnesota Wild. Knights on Sirius 209, XM 219, and Internet 949. Wild on Sirius and XM Channels 91, Internet 933. In NCAA College Baseball, 1 p.m., Michigan State faces Ohio State on XM and Internet 372. 1 p.m., Virginia Tech faces North Carolina, XM and Internet 371. 3 p.m., Mississippi State faces Florida on XM and Internet 374. On the PGA Tour at 1 p.m., catch full coverage of the RBC Heritage Open on Sirius XM and Internet Channels 92. In Serie A, 2:45 p.m., AC Milan takes on Atalanta on XM 201. In the UFL, 5 p.m., DC Defenders take on the San Antonio Brahmas on Sirius XM and Internet Channels 83. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM sports schedule for Sunday, April the 20th.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is Sirius XM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. Sirius XM NBA Radio, Sirius XM 86.
I'm Mick Kern with It Happened in Baseball, August 31st, 1990. It's part of baseball lore, playing catch with your father in the backyard. The Griffey family took that a few steps further. Ken Griffey had enjoyed a solid career as an outfielder on the Big Red Machine and later saw time with the Yankees, Braves, and Mariners. It was during that final stop in Seattle that Dad got to play ball with his son, Ken Griffey Jr., selected first overall in the 1987 amateur draft by the Mariners. Baseball history was made at the Kingdome in Seattle on that final day in August when father and son took to the field together, the first time that ever occurred in Major League Baseball. Griffey Sr. had been released by the Cincinnati Reds only 2 days earlier, and the Mariners jumped at the chance to bring him west. The father and son duo had an immediate impact on the game, both banging out hits in the first inning as Seattle went on to defeat the Kansas City Royals 5-2. Sr. began the game in left field, went 1 for 4 with a walk and a run scored. Jr. then in his second season in the big leagues patrolled center field, going 1 for 4 with a run scored. Most notable was a game only 2 weeks later when first father, then son, hit home runs off Kirk McCaskill of the California Angels. For the rest of that season and the first part of the next campaign, father and son got into 51 games together before the elder Griffey hung up the cleats in June of 1991. Ken Griffey Jr. later said playing in the big leagues with his father was the biggest thing that ever happened to him outside of the birth of his kids. For It Happened in Baseball, I'm Mick Kern.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
Premier League debut today, his full Premier League debut. Patrick Dorgu and Harry Amas, another academy graduate, completes the wide back five. Manuel Ugarte and Kobe Mainu are in the middle. Alejandro Garnacho, Christian Eriksen and Rasmus Højlund complete the home side's 11. Wolves have Jose Sarr in goal. It's Totti Gomez in defence with Emmanuel Agbadou and Santiago Bueno, the only change to the 11 that beat Tottenham Hotspur 4-2. Nelson Semedo's on the right, Ryan Aït-Nouri is on the left, Andre and Joao Gomez are in the middle, Mateus Cunha, Marshall Minetzi and Jorgen Strand Larsen complete the away side's starting 11 this afternoon here at Old Trafford. Well, a country track that has turned into a football anthem here at Old Trafford. Well, there is other games happening in the Premier League today. We'll, of course, keep you up to date with events that are happening at Portman Road as Arsenal make the trip down to Suffolk to take on Ipswich Town. And then there's an all-West London derby at Craven Cottage. Fulham taking on Chelsea in the London sunshine. Well, it's an Easter weekend. Will we have any Easter eggs to talk about today? It looks as if there's been a late change for Wolverhampton Wanderers. As I look at the players down in front of me, Jose Sarr was named to start in goal, but Dan Bentley has been given the responsibility of starting this one in between the sticks today. I'll try and find out exactly why that's the case. But a change to the lineups before the game's even started in this one for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, I shall do some digging and find out the answer for you. Well, apparently, local journalist working in the Wolverhampton area in the Black Country, apparently Jose Sarr was injured in the warm-up, and Dan Bentley will start giving young Tom King the chance to come onto the bench. Well, Bentley's Premier League debut came at Old Trafford back in May 2023. He's yet to appear in the competition this season. His contract expires at the end of this season. It almost feels as if he's playing for a new deal. Here's Dan Bentley. 3 Premier League appearances last season, 2 the season before that. He's only made 1 appearance in the League Cup. But today he starts at Old Trafford in a late change, and it's Wolves who get us underway, playing from right to left in their gold and black kit. It's 2 classic Premier League kits out on display today. One for the supporters who love the beautiful game, the gold and black of Wolves, the red and white of Manchester United. And there'll be Wolves playing from right to left, Wolves going Man United, I should say, going from left to right. And in the early exchanges, Wolverhampton Wanderers are just enjoying the possession amongst their back 3. Remember, if you want to get involved with the show today, you can drop us a line. Get onto X, get onto Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and tell us where you're listening in the world today. Usually get messages coming in from all over the place, from the likes of Melbourne, some coming in from Perth, a lot of Australian listeners. We have plenty in Accra, Nigeria as well, and South Africa. And here come Wolves down the left hand side. It's Jürgen Strand-Larsen who's dispossessed by Nusayr Mazraoui. Jürgen Strand-Larsen will win the throw-in though, midway inside the Manchester United half, down the Wolves left hand side. He's a big lad, is Jürgen Strand-Larsen. Scored in his last 4. No Wolves player in Premier League history has scored in 5 consecutive games. Could he make history today, the big Norwegian? The ball's left by Andre. And now it's Nelson Semedo, middle of the Manchester United half, out on the right hand side. Here's the midfielder João Gomez, goes to Andre, and now Ait Nouri out on the left hand side, who's trying to skip away from Patrick Dorgu, who's playing at right back today. Manchester United just dropping back into that defensive shape of 5-4-1. It's difficult to break down for Wolverhampton Wanderers, but they're enjoying all of the possession at the moment. Ait Nouri, and now João Gomez trying a quick 1-2, but unable to complete that 1-2 as João Gomez tries to win the ball back. All he can do is trip Patrick Dorgu from behind and concede the free kick. Well, it's down the right hand side where Manchester United have this free kick. Be interesting to see how brave he is going forward. Is Patrick Dorgu, signed as a left back, of course, let's not forget that. Young Harry Amas starting in that position today, and looks as if he's going to be alongside Tyler Fredrickson, the 20-year-old, making his Premier League debut today. Lindelof's got some defending to do, he does it very well, but the loose ball falls for Menetzi, who stumbles trying to control it and can only play it straight to Nusayr Mazraoui. Here's the Moroccan now, closed down by 3 golden Wolves shirts. Dorgu, Lindelof, very calmly done by Manchester United. As Agate finds Eriksson, it crosses the halfway line, down the left-hand side for Manchester United. Garnacho, his first touch of the ball. You can hear the crowd get excited when he picks it up. Eriksson into Kobbie Mainoo, one of the goal heroes on Thursday night, who really took his strike well. First touch to set himself, right foot, bending it into the corner, out of the reach of the Lyon defence and goalkeeper. There's Dorgu, and then Vitor Pereira barking orders down below us as Andre's in to win the tackle, but Ugarte wins it back off him. Solid work from the former Sporting man. Eriksson, 10 yards outside the penalty area, thought about the shot, instead played it out wide. It's Garnacho, it's a heavy touch, and Santiago Bueno comes across to make the block and then play it against Alejandro Garnacho for the goal kick. Now he looks a bit perplexed at why he didn't get that decision, Alejandro Garnacho. So it did look as if Santiago Bueno just thumped it out for a goal kick. Well, I think he might have had a case there, Alejandro Garnacho, just a little bit of a case. Santiago Bueno looking a little bit fortunate that decision went his way. It's Wolves who come forward though. Semedo trying to run down the right hand side, can't cross the halfway line though because Christian Eriksen's in the way, and charging in with a lot of energy rather unnecessarily is Munetsi. And Marshall Munetsi only joined in the winter transfer window. This is 9th appearance in the Premier League since joining. He made his Premier League debut, you may well remember if you're a Wolves fan, at Anfield. He had a great chance to score as well, couldn't take it. Here come Manchester United down the left. It's Amas, it's a wonderful cross in, plenty of whip and pace on it, but a free header in the middle for Emmanuel Agbadou to clear the Wolves back line. First foray forward for 18-year-old Harry Amas. Came on against Lyon as a late substitute in extra time, played 10 minutes or so. Here's Eriksson charging towards the penalty area. There's a slip from Mainoo, it's in towards Højlund, but it's a quick dispossession by Agbadou, and in fact Højlund had just run ahead of the defender a moment or two too soon. Well, on the bench today for Manchester United is the man who scored the probably most memorable goal that Manchester United have scored here at Old Trafford in some time, certainly in Europe. Harry Maguire with that brilliant header to win it at the death in the 121st minute. Here come Wolves though down the left hand side. Cunha slips in, Aït-Nouri cuts it across, and it's away by Eriksson. Mazraoui picks up the pieces and will send it further away down the Manchester United right. Højlund tries to play a 1-2 with Garnacho, but in the way is Totti, and Manchester United get the throw in down the right hand side close to the halfway line. But it's the first time that we've seen Wolves come forward down the left with Cunha. We know what he's about, we know what he can do, Matheus Cunha. Of course, he came back last weekend to score the fourth against Tottenham Hotspur. Started the game on the bench, which seemed to give him an added motivation, you have to say. After his 4-game suspension for the incident in the FA Cup against Bournemouth, which he'd rather may not mention, I'm sure about that. Højlund misjudges the bounce of the ball. Totti doesn't, so the Wolves defender can get his head in and knock it out for a Man United throw in midway inside the Wolves half. Garnacho's switch to the right, despite only being in the 7th minute of this game. Still goalless elsewhere in the Premier League, as we are here at Old Trafford. Here's Tyler Fredriksson. Composed pass back to Lindelof. Mazraoui, Ugarte. Wolves hurrying the Manchester United back line, but not with a significant intensity. Here's Tyler Fredriksson. Andre Onana closed down by Marshall Munetsi. It's not a great clearance, it falls into the middle for Totti, but Emmanuel Ugarte will get the loose ball. It could have bounced to a red or gold shirt. Manchester United lucky that it falls to one of theirs. Eriksson goes long, looking for the run of Patrick Dorgu, but way too much on it from Christian Eriksen. Well, he made his 100th appearance for Manchester United in the defeat to Nottingham Forest a few weeks back. It's really not certain where his future lies as his contract comes to an end in the summer. Christian Eriksen. And here's Ugarte. Manchester United continuing to try and play out from the back, but Wolves making it hard for them. That clearance from Mazraoui comes off Cunha's left foot and will go out for a United throw in about 10 yards up from the corner flag. Man United throw in. Dorgu to take down the right, throws it into Mainu, who was always going to struggle to control that. Robbed by Andre. Wonderful play down the left hand side by Wolves. Aït-Nouri into Cunha. It's a heavy touch and Mazraoui dives in and trips the Brazilian just outside the penalty area. Mazraoui shakes his head and says, no, I didn't touch him, but the way he dived in, he certainly did catch the right foot of Mateus Cunha. The foul was outside the penalty area, despite Cunha ending up in the penalty area. Unnecessary foul to give away there by Mazraoui, because Cunha was not in control of the ball. Mazraoui continuing his run today, incidentally, of playing in every single Premier League game. Only Joshua Zirkzee has played every other game for Manchester United in the Premier League this season. It's not going to continue today, though, as he's not on the bench, out through injury. Free kick here for Wolves. Cunha takes it, whips it in with so much pace into the near post. Lindelof was there with a full forehead to clear it away for Manchester United, and that could have taken any kind of deflection and gone beyond the Swede and then beyond Onana. Manchester United's defender, though, with a full thumping headed clearance. Only made his third Premier League start of the season against Newcastle, did Lindelof. Had a lot of issues with injury this season. He had family issues, like I mentioned pre-match during the game at Lyon. He was on the bench but had to leave at half-time because of the incident involving his family, but it's clearly been resolved to make himself available today. So we get a close-up on our monitor of Vitor Pereira writing a few notes in his little notebook. No time for the tablet today. Sometimes the old ways are the best. Totti, Andre, Aït-Nouri. They just look like they're playing with confidence, Wolves at the back, as Aït-Nouri almost gives it away. Garnacho's battling, as is Dorgu, who's progressed high up into the final third of the Wolves half, but all he can do is concede the throw-in. Oh, that's a poor clearance from Totti up into the afternoon sky. Højlund makes it drop. It's Kobbie Mainoo who goes down in the box very softly. Dan Bentley's off his line to collect the ball on the edge of his 6-yard box, but Mainoo, I think he'd lost control of the ball and then, in hope more than anything, threw himself to the ground. I don't think he was trying to con the referee. An arm did come across from Emmanuel Agbadou, but certainly wouldn't have impacted him getting the ball or not. And he's Totti for Wolves. It's a poor pass from Totti, but Cunha's able to get his toe on it just about and guide it to Aït-Nouri. Cunha sends it over the top. Strand Larsen wins the first header. The second one's won by Fredriksson, but then Munetsi gets it, but can't dwell on it because Mazraoui's there to win it off him. And now Mainoo can bring it away from Manchester United, surrounded by gold shirts, though. Forced back to Dorgu and trying to complete the 1-2. They knock it out of play because of the Wolves press, which Vitor Pereira absolutely thoroughly enjoyed. 2 fist pumps from the Portuguese boss. 12 minutes played, goalless here at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Wolves. Cunha down the left hand side, controls it with his chest up against Dorgu and Mazraoui. He's all alone, and for a moment it looked as if he won a corner, but the ball bounced off of Mazraoui's knee and back onto Mateus Cunha's right knee before going out for a goal kick. Rather unfortunate for the former Atletico man and the season's top scorer for Wolves in the Premier League. Well, Arsenal have taken the lead at Ipswich Town, but here come Manchester United. Garnacho into the penalty area. Across comes Agbadou and knocks it out for a throw-in 5 yards away from the corner flag down the left for Manchester United. Good progress they made there, though, by Garnacho. But it was Leandro Trossard who's scuffed home the opening goal at Ipswich Town. Not the Wolves are going to get dragged into a relegation battle, but they'll be pleased, I'm sure, to see the side below them in the table losing at home. Garnacho to Harry Amas, just about keeps it in play. I think about 90% of the ball was probably over the white line there, very close for a going out. Here's Agate. Now Lindelof and Mazraoui, Manchester United's back line, just passing it between themselves on the edge of the centre circle. Now Dorgu out on the right. Oh, there's a slip from Agate. Loses possession, in fact. Loses possession because he was fouled by Andre. Well, he came in quite aggressively, Andre, but it didn't look like it was too aggressive to concede a foul. It was just competitive more than anything. There was no complaints from Agate, but he earned the free kick. The Brazilian is really impressed for Wolves this season as the former Fluminense man. £21 million is what he cost, and former Wolves man Dave Edwards this week has described him as the best number 6 in the league. Ryan Gravenberg would like to have a word. Oh, and it's a short back pass. Bentley's got to be off his line quickly, and he is. Had to be there. Hoyland was chasing it down, not giving it up. Nearly got his reward. Here's Bueno back in possession for Wolves. Semedo, that ball stays in, and he's then tripped by Harry Amas as he was heading back towards his own goal. And it was a moment to think about for Dan Bentley. Looked reluctant to come off his line. Did eventually cleared it away. Really had to move quickly. But lots of promising play in this game, but yet to have an attempt at goal. Here's Bentley, left-footed, sends it as long as he can. Dorgu wins the header though for Manchester United on the halfway line. Agate could have brought it down, but didn't. Flicked it onto Cunha. Andre gives it away though. Agate, Joao Gomez hunting down the ball. Garnacho has it, he goes back to Amas. He's not going to get it, Joao Gomez, because Manchester United have always got a player available. And they go back to their midfield with Eriksson, and now Amas. He leaves it for Alejandro Garnacho. Very young team out on display today for Manchester United in certain parts, that's for sure. 20-year-old Kobbie Mainoo, 20-year-old Tyler Fredrickson, 20-year-old Alejandro Garnacho, 18-year-old Harry Amas, and let's not forget Rasmus Hoyland, he's only 22 years of age as well. 20-year-old Patrick Dorgu, how could we forget the right back as well. Mainoo goes up with a Totti, but it's the Manchester United Academy graduate who wins it, and Garnacho picks up the loose ball. Bueno backtracks, blocks off Garnacho's run, which means Amas is out wide on his own. May have been given as a foul on another day by another referee, but not today from Mr. Robert Jones. Garnacho with a left-footed cross, it's a wicked one in, easily headed away though by Nori. And now Cunha away from Mazraoui. Dorgu's got so much pace though, he's able to get back and help out his fellow defender. Cunha will win the throw-in right under the nose of Ruben Amorim. There's Mateus Cunha. No hidden, mysterious messages on his Instagram story this week. Fredrickson beating Strand Larsen in the air, much to the enjoyment of the Stretford end. Like Nori, everything progressive from Wolves has seemingly come down their left-hand side in this first 17 minutes, where we're still waiting for the first goal here at Old Trafford. 0-0 between Manchester United and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Poor touch from Semedo, who couldn't keep that ball in. It was a difficult pass to make, I should say, by Emmanuel Agbadou, and a difficult ball to control, but He looked as if he'd done enough to control that Semedo. Fortunately spins out, but Manchester United have immediately relinquished the possession back to Wolves. Lindelof with a poor pass back to Harry Amas. Semedo looking for movement in front of him. There's Agbadou across to Totti. As Wolves look to progress. Very difficult to get through the 5-4-1. Whelan's very much the one at the moment, but it's given away by Agbadou. That's poor. Mainu slides it through for Garnacho. It's a bit of a let-off between Agbadou and Totti. It looked like they both went to leave it for a minute there, but eventually Totti took control. Lindelof gets his head in it before Strand Larsen, but trying to win possession back. All he can do is trip Tyler Fredrickson, and the 20-year-old will win a free kick for Manchester United. He doesn't look out of place. That's what you've got to say in the early exchanges of this Premier League debut for Tyler Fredrickson. Glorious day for it, as the sun continues to beat down here at Old Trafford. Here's Totti, 10 yards inside the Manchester United half. Centre back venturing into midfield. Here is a midfielder. Andre gives it to Aït-Nouri on the left, and now back with Emmanuel Agbadou. There's been a goal in the game between Fulham and Chelsea, and it's Fulham who've scored it. Alex Iwobi with the strike there. Such an underrated player in the Premier League is Alex Iwobi. And Santiago Bueno. Played in every game since 4-0 defeat to Everton in December. Santiago Bueno, this is his 20th consecutive start in the Premier League, as Totti cleverly spins away from Garnacho and can get away from the Manchester United man. Crosses the halfway line and adventures forward. Fredrickson clears it, not very far though. It's pulled back for João Gomez. There's more of a cross than a shot from the Brazilian. There's Semedo, arm in the back from Harry Amas, but no foul given. Semedo out wide. João Gomez loops in a cross, but loops it all the way over the penalty area. Aït-Nouri does well to win the throw in there. Does Ryan Aït-Nouri. Cleverly backheeled it onto Patrick Dorgu. About 5 yards away from the corner flag as this throw in for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Down their left hand side. 21 minutes played. Yet to have a shot on target. Very much got an end of season feel to it, this one. Aït-Nouri wins another throw in. A little bit closer to the corner flag this time as Dorgu toe pokes it away from his man. Here's Totti, surrounded by 3 red shirts. They were always going to win that. Agarte's the one who did. Eriksson loses it though. Semedo 25 yards out, shoots a goal. Flies wide, and it flies over. Not a brilliant strike from Nelson Semedo, but it is a shot to talk about in this game. We haven't had much to talk about, and at long last we do. Nelson Semedo with a strike at goal from 20 yards out or so. And of course it's the man who's not really renowned for his goal scoring, gets to score in the Premier League this season, and with strikes like that it's not hard to see why. That's good hold of play by Rasmus Højlund. Lays it off for Manuel Ugarte. Lovely bit of skill from the Uruguayan to get away from the Wolves man. Garnacho. Harry Amas being chased by Semedo, forced back to Eriksson. 20 yards outside the penalty area, it's Manuel Ugarte. Back now with Fredrickson and Lindelof. Every outfield player currently in the Wolves half. Manchester United finding ways around the Wolves high press. It's more of a mid-press, I suppose you could say. Amas to Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen, 15 years the senior of Harry Amas. Here he is, Christian Eriksen. Nasser Mazraoui. Very little movement in red ahead of Patrick Dorgu, who ends up on the deck and gets a free kick actually in the shaded part here at Old Trafford. Well, it was a trip by Ryan Aït-Nouri. Manchester United try and do something clever from that free kick, but immediately give it away to Wolves. And Ryan Aït-Nouri, here he is, the Algerian, down the left hand side. That's a good ball into Jurgen Strand-Larsen, but he didn't look comfortable running at the Wolves defenders. Tried to cut back and lost possession to Manuel Ugarte, who's doing a brilliant job, it has to be said, in that defensive midfield position. But the same could be said for Wolves as well, in Andre and João Gomez. They are picking up the pieces. Here's Garnacho, maybe a piece here for the young winger. Harry Amas tries to get his cross in, but can't beat Nelson Semedo. Garnacho will get the loose ball, but his heavy touch is conceded, and now Marshall Manetzi can bring it away from the Manchester United back line. Manetzi into Strand-Larsen. Jurgen Strand-Larsen. It's Norway versus Sweden here, as Lindelof tries to do some defending, and in the end Lindelof's the man who wins the free kick. Brilliant defending from Victor Lindelof. It was a real battle between two big lads. Strand-Larsen, he didn't look confident or comfortable running towards the Manchester United goal, and in the end he had his shirt pulled down, and that's what took Lindelof down. No changes elsewhere in the Premier League. Away from here, still Ipswich 0, Arsenal 1, and Fulham 1, Chelsea 0. 25 minutes played here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Down the left hand side come Manchester United. It's Harry Amas. He's got Eriksen as the available overlapping support on the left hand side, but Eriksen gives it straight back to his man. Manchester United with an XG in this game of 0.00 because they're yet to have a shot. Wolverhampton Wanderers, who have had a shot, just the one, with an XG of 0.02. It's very much 0-0, and it feels like it's not going to change at any time soon, let's put it that way. But everything can change in the blink of an eye, as we all know after watching Manchester United here on Thursday night, and it might change here as Manetzi comes forward. Strand-Larsen, Cunha slow and dispossessed by Manuel Ugarte. Great work in midfield by him once again, and now Garnacho can bring it away on the counter for Manchester United. He's charging away from Cunha. Mainu receives it away from João Gomez. Harry Amas to wicked cross into the middle, and Aït-Nouri is there to volley it behind for a corner. Well, he could have turned that into his own net, Aït-Nouri, but did well to get underneath it and chip it up over the crossbar to put it behind for the first corner of the game for Manchester United. Harry Amas, though, great cross in with the left foot. Højlund's gone down in a pile. He's injured himself leaping for the ball, and I think he might have just ran into a Wolves defender in Emmanuel Agbadou as he leapt, and that's why he's feeling some pain. He's back up on his feet though, no treatment needed for Rasmus Højlund. First corner of the game, and it goes the way of Manchester United. It'll be an in-swinger from Eriksen towards the near post. Strand-Larsen's there to thump it away with a big forehead, and João Gomez will take it back towards the corner flag rather than just clearing it away, but clears it against Eriksen and goes the way of Wolverhampton Wanderers down their right hand side. Arsenal are now 2-0 up against Ipswich Town. They can do it at the Bernabeu, and they can do it at Portman Road. Martinelli, once again, he can certainly do it at the Bernabeu. Here's Manetzi faced with Harry Amas. Manages to wriggle away from the youngster, but another youngster in Fredrickson comes across and slows down the Zimbabwe international. He then steps into the midfield as Fredrickson, as Ugarte takes it off the foot of a Wolves man. Garnacho then pinches it back, and there's a coming together which leads to a Manchester United free kick. Andre with the foul, and Andre with the first yellow card of the afternoon. Well, he always puts a foot in, does Andre. This time, unfortunately, it landed on the foot of Manuel Ugarte. And I think he knew as soon as he made the challenge that he was late and he was dangerous. Yellow card for Andre. Free kick's taken short by Eriksson to Fredrickson. Mainu lofts it over the top for Højlund. He lets it bounce, which wasn't the right decision by Rasmus Højlund, but it will be a corner. Emmanuel Agbadou getting the last touch on it, even though he probably could have just watched it roll out of play for a goal kick. Eriksson with the corner from the far side once again for Manchester United. He'll loop it in towards the near post. Oh goodness me, Bentley had to punch it away because that looked like it was going straight in. Amas keeps it alive on the right side of the box. Dorgu forced back to midfield where Mazraoui picks it up. He skips away from Manetzi. Thought about the shot first time, instead goes across to Harry Amas. And now Dorgu lofts one into the back post. It's a great ball in. Lindelof and Højlund attacked it, but no one got a touch on it, and it spins wide of Dan Bentley's right hand post. Very, very close to getting a striker goal there with a free header. Oh, they were onside as well, Højlund and Lindelof. It was behind Højlund and it was too far ahead of Lindelof. Unfortunate for Dorgu because it was a good ball in. Just a foot or so forward, a foot or so backwards, and it would have been a great cross. Here's Andre, slips in the D and manages to recover his footwork to get away from his man, and there is a ironic cheer you can hear coming from the away end as Rob Jones awards a free kick for Wolves, which might well be the first one of the game, judging by the away side's reaction. Cunha was the man fouled. He receives the free kick from Totti. And it's Cunha again. He needs to get him into higher positions. Here's Totti. Sends a long ball forward, looking for Strand Larsen. Harry Amas at the back. Very nicely done to skip away from Marshall Manetzi. Here's Garnacho. Across to Tyler Fredrickson, who looks confident bringing the ball forward over the halfway line. Harry Amas, the two academy lads linking up. Now Garnacho. Back to Eriksson. There's been a red card in the Ipswich Arsenal game, and Ipswich see it go from bad to worse as Leif Davis is sent off. Straight red. The foul on Bukayo Saka. Manchester United are going to get a free kick themselves here for a foul on Nisser Mazraoui. 15 yards or so outside the penalty area. It might just be on the cusp of shooting distance. No Bruno Fernandes in the starting 11 today for Manchester United. Casemiro is on the bench, as is Harry Maguire, Mason Mount, Lenny Yoro, Diogo Dalot. Johnny Evans is back as well. Chido Obi. A lot of first team options. Dan Bentley getting his wall just into the position. It's right in the middle of the pitch here. It's difficult to get an angle which is favourable, but Christian Eriksen is the man who stands over it. Will it be a cross or a shot? It looks as if he's going to shoot. From 30 yards out, it's Christian Eriksen! And it's a simple save in the end for Dan Bentley, but it was over the wall with plenty of pace and plenty of whip. And instead of opting to knock it down and pick it up at the second time of asking, Dan Bentley, in the middle of his goal, in all honesty, just palmed it over for a corner. But it's a shot on target to talk about here at Old Trafford. Corner again. Eriksen sends it in. Free header for Totti. Only clears it away as far as Christian Eriksen. Still up from the corner for Manchester United, but he goes back to Nasser Mazraoui. Eriksen. Closed down by Joao Gomez. All the way back to Andre Onana. Ugarte closed down by Strand Larsen, and he had to get away from him quickly there, because if he'd have lost it, Strand Larsen would have had the freedom to run at the Stretford end. United still have it though with Garnacho and Ugarte. Eriksen. Mazraoui sees a running behind, and that runner is Højlund. He's got support in the middle if he can find them. Instead he goes back to Dorgu. Eriksen. Totti away. Marshall Monetzi, I should say, glances it further away. And here's Fredriksson. 34 minutes played here at Old Trafford. Man United 0, Wolves 0. That's good play from Mainu. Well, that's not good play from Emmanuel Agbadou, who's given away a lot of free kicks here for Wolverhampton Wanderers in dangerous positions just outside the penalty area, and it's Garnacho who he's taken out this time. Just diving in late, diving in aggressively. It looks out of control from Emmanuel Agbadou, and I've got to say he's very lucky not to be on a yellow card at this point in time. Wolverhampton Wanderers with 3 times as many fouls in this game as Manchester United have committed. Eriksen with another free kick. This time it's more to the left of the penalty area, so maybe more favourable for a shot. Bentley positioning his 3-man wall how he would like it. It's a difficult angle, but if anyone can, Christian Eriksen can. It is Eriksen. It's into the wall though. Bounces off Strand Larsen. In fact, Totti got a bit of a knock as well from that shot as it goes behind for another corner for Manchester United. Corner for United. Eriksen sends it in. Bentley looked uncomfortable. Højlund making a nuisance of himself, but Bentley was able to get a fist on it. Dorgu finds the angle, sends it and takes the one, and again no one landing on the end. Patrick Dorgu's left-footed in-swinging cross, but the young Dane with an excellent bit of technique there. It was the old Dane, Christian Eriksen, who sent in the first corner though. And he's got so much whip on them, and he gets so much loop on them as well, which makes it so hard to read for Dan Bentley, especially when you've got Rasmus Højlund standing on your toes. Here's Andre. And now Mateus Cunha. Look at that for a ball. Very well read though by Harry Amas. Ball looked destined for Nelson Semedo, but he does get it now, Semedo, because Eriksen has lost it. Joao Gomez. Nelson Semedo. Can he find the cross? No, he can't. Amas is in the way. Sticks out a right foot. And deflects it out for a throw-in. 10 yards away from the corner flag. He's done well down the right-hand side. Nelson Semedo up against Harry Amas, but the youngster has matched him on pretty much every occasion. Bruno Fernandes has come out to warm up down in front of us, and that's why you can hear the chants of Bruno. It was he who started the comeback, of course, against Lyon with that penalty. Totti trying to make ground for Wolves, but too slow getting back into his chasing down his own touch, I should say, Totti, as it runs out of play for a Manchester United throw-in, which they take quickly. Now Lindelof has it. And now Tyler Fredrickson. Kobbie Mainoo. I've seen enough of him in attacking areas, really, Kobbie Mainoo. That's good from Amas, but he's tripped by Nelson Semedo just inside the Manchester United half. It will be a free kick for the home side. In fact, the offside flag has been raised against the Manchester United man, so Wolves take their free kick. Cunha dispossessed by Tyler Fredrickson. Eriksson loses it though. Joao Gomez, it might open up for him here. Gives it to Strand Larsen. Cuts it across looking for Manetzi, but read by Fredrickson. Very well versed in his defensive positioning as Tyler Fredrickson, as Manuel Ugarte gets a clip from Jurgen Strand Larsen. Well, Tyler Fredrickson, his manager was full of compliments for him before this one today. He called him composed and humble. Not too bad words to be used at all for Tyler Fredrickson. Came close to making his debut a few years ago. He was on the bench in the Europa League game against Real Sociedad back in September 22 under Erik ten Hag. He spent 16 months out injured and only came back last summer recovering from that. Great to see him getting his Premier League debut today. He's made a couple of appearances in the Virtue Trophy for the under-21s against EFL opposition, but Premier League is as big as it gets on the domestic front. And the success of recent youngsters like Alejandro Garnacho and of course Kobbie Mainoo. There's plenty of optimism about being a young player coming through the ranks at Manchester United. Here is Garnacho. Great turn of pace to get away from Manetzi and bring in Harry Amas. The left back comes forward. Garnacho continues his run forward. Santiago Bueno collides with him, but not in an unfair manner. Garnacho says he was pushed in the back. I think maybe he felt contact in the back, but didn't look like there was a clear push in the back of Alejandro Garnacho. Strand Larsen tussling with Fredrickson, but once again Fredrickson gets the better of his man. It's been a tough afternoon so far for Jurgen Strand Larsen and Rasmus Højlund, it has to be said. Can he get that fifth goal that will put him in the history books, Jurgen Strand Larsen? Scored the third goal against Tottenham last week. It was a simple tap in for him, put on a plate pretty much. Here's Højlund, good running down the right channel from the big Dane. Garnacho, he is tripped that time by Totti, and it will be a free kick. And there's been a few of these rash tackles from the Wolverhampton Wanderers centre-back trio. Agbadu's done most of them, but this time it was definitely Totti. I think Andre ran into Garnacho as he fell down as well. Just as he was landing, he got a clattering into the side of the head from the Brazilian Andre. Saw one for Alejandro Garnacho. Free kick starting to tally up now for Manchester United. This time it's too far wide for Eriksson to have a shot out on the right. I'd probably say it's about 3 yards in from touch on the right hand side. Eriksson to take, right on the periphery of the shaded part of the pitch. Eriksson holds his left arm aloft. He'll send it in towards the penalty spot, but there is Andre to head it away. Joao Gomez can't win the second ball. There is Andre again though, as Joao Gomez gives it away. Cunha dispossessed. Ugarte all on his own, under pressure, and loses out to Andre. Midfielder versus midfielder. Uruguay versus Brazil, and it's Brazil that won it that time. 3 minutes to go. Manchester United 0, Wolves 0 here in the Premier League on Premier League Live. Manchester United with 2 shots, Wolves with 1. Combined they have an XG of 0.09. It's not been a classic Old Trafford afternoon so far, as Andre Onana slices his clearance into the Wolves technical area. Garnacho receives it from Fredrickson, who goes back into attack. Garnacho loses it, gives it to Kobbie Mainoo, who's dispossessed but gets up to win it back. That's good from Mainoo. Garnacho running centrally, sees Mainoo to his left, will bend one with his right foot, trying to find Bentley's bottom corner, but Mainoo couldn't quite repeat what he did against Lyon on Thursday night and find that same corner, just whipping it a metre or two wide of Dan Bentley's left-hand post. But it's a good bit of play, and the first time we've seen Kobbie Mainoo get into a dangerous attacking position. Good bending effort from young Kobbie Mainoo. Got to remember, he's been out with a lot of injury recently too, Kobbie Mainoo, and has hardly played in the Premier League. This only is a 20th appearance of the campaign, most of them coming from the bench. He's back in position now as Strand Larsen gets that flick on from a Manchester United head. Manetzi can't get the loose ball though, because Christian Eriksen has beaten him to it. And here's Agate to Christian Eriksen in the final minute of the first half here. Is there one more chance in this break? Garnacho to low cross into the middle. Arriving was Højlund, but it was behind Rasmus Højlund, and Wolves are able to clear it away with Nelson Semedo, but the end ball just not been good enough for Manchester United in this first half. Mainoo, corner of the penalty area. Dorgu receives on the right hand side. The fullback advanced here. Mazraoui back to Lindelof, pokes it infield for Eriksen. Lindelof, Agate takes a tumble under pressure from Andre. No foul though from Andre, and digs out a great pass to Cunha. Chance at the end of the first half here for Wolves. Cunha sprays it to the right, looking for Manetzi, but it's way too hard, and Amas is there to deal with the danger. Not put a foot wrong in this first half. There's Harry Amas.
The referee has indicated a minimum of 1 minute added time.
Tyler Fredrickson hit to put a foot wrong either, in all honesty. Here's Eriksen. It's a long ball forward, looking for Rasmus Højlund, but Agbadou and Semedo work it out between them and guide it back to Dan Bentley in his 6-yard box. Goes long. Cunha knocks it on, looking for Strand Larsen, but can't stretch that far. And in fact, the ball has been brought back for a free kick here for a high-foot against Christian Eriksen. It'll be a Manchester United free kick. Here's Lindelof. Now Nasser Mazraoui. And there's the half-time whistle from referee Rob Jones in what has been a largely unforgettable first half. 4 attempts to talk about, 1 save to be made. That was made by Dan Bentley, and it was a rather simple save from a Christian Eriksen free kick. It can only get better in the second half, but it's certainly got an end of season feel to it, this one. As at the break here at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, and we'll now head down to Portman Road to catch up with Matt Drabble and Paul Parker, who are watching Ipswich Town versus Arsenal.
Sliding challenge by O'Shea. Arsenal throw right wing, 12 yards from the corner flag, in front of a rather sullen looking Ipswich Town fan base. Everyone in their seats, a few with head in hands. Will be a long second half. Martin Odegaard dribbling his way into the penalty area. Quick feet, not quick enough in the end. Jens Kajuste can bring it away for Ipswich, but there's nowhere for him to go. And you come back to that point you made before. Ipswich are even down to 10. They have no outlet. They're not smashing it long up to George Hurst, so they're just trying to dribble their way through an Arsenal midfield, which is one of the best without the ball in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's the problem there. That'll work in the Championship, by the way they're playing. That'll definitely work down there, and everyone will say great football team. But when you're at this level, you just can't do it. You need alternatives. Something will work for a few minutes, and you have to then look to maybe change up and do something else. Ipswich are continuously doing the same thing all the time. Arsenal are just waiting, picking them off, and bang, and they're hitting them while they're skinny at the back.
Been lucky enough to be at Portman Road 4 or 5 times this season to watch Ipswich. I watched them lose handily to Newcastle and handily to Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham, and the game followed this exact pattern. Ipswich getting smothered, overrun, overwhelmed in midfield, and long spells of Tottenham on Newcastle pressure that day would end in goals, as it's proved with Arsenal today. 45 seconds to go till half-time. Ipswich 0, Arsenal 2. Bukayo Saka goes backwards to Ben White. A result for Arsenal today would mean that Liverpool, who are coming up later, Ben Jacobs with commentary of that, cannot seal the title today. They'll have to wait till at least next week. Saka bursting past Greaves again, and Greaves lucky that ball trickled over the byline.
A lot of times when Saka goes up against people, he can't beat them for pace. Ipswich today is beating everyone down that side. Ben Jacobs, he's going to have an excuse not to come out second half, or he's going to be asked to play centre forward because he is not enjoying that moment.
So Alex Palmer with the resulting goal kick as the clock winds down. This will likely be the first action of a rather miserable first half at Portman Road. Well, Chris Kavanagh brings it to a close. Arsenal in full control. They got the scoring going early with Leandro Trossard. Gabriel Martinelli would add a spectacular second before Leif Davis was sent off for a stamp on Bukayo Saka. That means half-time here, it's Ipswich 0, Arsenal 2. Analysis plus a wrap-up of everything else that's happened in the Premier League coming next. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Previously on White and Jordan.
No one buys a football club until that football club is in absolute distress.
But the fans look at it differently.
Comments, conflict and confrontation. Well, who creates hell most of the time? The media whip up the Ferrari.
Hold on. Even better than cowardice.
Let me finish this.
Here we go.
Disagree to disagree.
Jim White and Simon Jordan.
I mean, do me a favour.
Continues weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Week in the Tackle with Brian Dunseth and Tom Rennie is a weekly podcast where we tackle the biggest stories from the world of soccer.
Soccer? What the hell's happened to you, man?
You guys just won't let that go, will you?
What's next? You gonna take an elevator to your apartment where you use a cell phone to order takeout?
You mean the lift to my flat where I'll use my mobile to order a takeaway?
A Week in the Tackle is a weekly football podcast tackling the biggest stories from the Premier League, Major League Soccer, the Champions League, and more. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
Talk Sport Drive. Weekday afternoons from 4 on Talk Sport.
Talk Sport Drive with me, Darren Bent.
And me, Andy Goldstein.
Sports radio that's guaranteed to go the distance.
Move up through the gears with all the day's sports.
Daily football debates, plus a bootload of banter.
Watch the lights. Release the clutch. Drive!
Talk Sport Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. Weekday afternoons from 4 on Talk Sport. The fastest football on the way home.
That's going to come back to haunt me, that one, isn't it?
Global events.
What is the difference between a humanitarian pause and a ceasefire in the conflict?
Reactive analysis.
There's a lot of anxiety about this. We'll speak to the people involved.
From the world's best journalists.
People who can provoke your thoughts on the news and issues of the day.
We'll make sure you're fully briefed on what's leading the world of politics.
Times Radio is available to listen without a subscription on DAB digital radio, online, via the Times Radio app, and on your smart speaker. Times Radio.
Previously on White and Jordan.
These guys are lemmings. All they do is follow one another. Everyone gets a tattoo. Everyone drives the same cars. They all have the same haircuts. But when it comes to it, they don't learn from one another's lessons. Fight or flight. Jordan or White. It's not surprising that when you get a big bag of money on top of it, you get your mind out of whack.
The egos have landed. Jim White and Simon Jordan continues weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Reasons to like Talk Sport. 1, 2, 3. Football, golf and cricket, your season ticket. A punt on a whippet and goals. A bit of Super Alley, the dance at Alley Pally. The next at Abbey Valley and Grand Green Bowls. Addy on the Depot, the old firm life from Glasgow. Leather on the Willow, plus Perry Groves. Premier League footballers, runners, riders, ballers. Lots of angry callers and it does.
Don't be a blockhead. Listen to Talk Sport on DAB Digital Radio, 1089 and 10:53 AM, on the app and on your smart speaker.
Talk Sport.
You are listening to Premier League Live. I'm Matt Drabble. Paul Parker is alongside me, and Arsenal are in complete control at Portman Road. Here's how it sounded on Premier League Live. Ciso trying to flick it onto Hurst, and Enciso's done well to win that back off Declan Rice, and he dumps Declan Rice to the turf. Julio Enciso looks for George Hurst, tried to be too clever. You can see what he was doing, Paul, faking the shot and trying to just slip it in behind to Hurst, but it doesn't come off.
I'm just looking at Enciso. He's the only Ipswich player you believe is going to hurt Arsenal, and he's been a little bit, I just want him to be more selfish.
As Odegaard brings it into the Ipswich penalty area, finds Trossard, and Trossard with the tamest of finishes slides it into the bottom left. Well, Ipswich Town threatening up one end with Julio Enciso, but in a flash, Arsenal drive up the other, and Odegaard lays off to Trossard, who curls it in the bottom left from 12 yards.
Well, that was just scruffy, to be perfectly honest. Poor in the end. I just don't know how he managed to dig it out. I'm surprised it even got over the goal line. There was no pace on it.
Saka stood over the ball. Ipswich Town fans' nerves jammed.
What's up, soccer fans, football fans, Manchester United fans from all over the world? Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever it is you're watching from all over the world. Thank you for hanging out with us here. Big shout out to SOP True on TikTok. Make sure you go check out True and what he does over there with the unbelievable goal scoring techniques that he shows, the tactics, all of that stuff, and as well, Sons of a Pitch Soccer and Manchester United content coming very, very soon right there on SOP True on TikTok. Make sure you've checked it out. Make sure you DM True if you want to play EAFC and have him play your games for you to get the best results, the best rewards in the business. Now let's get to the game at hand today. Manchester United up against Wolves. Can they get the victory? It's going to be a tough one, but saving all the pieces for that semifinal against Atletico Bilbao in the Europa League coming up. What a thrilling victory that was. Make sure you check out all of the live content. We had the game live, and we had a recap of the Newcastle game talking about the second leg. True was telling you all about it. So make sure to check out our MUFC Central episodes as well. Go Manchester United, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
That at all, so he's got to go in there and he's got to try and lift them and just somehow just remind them the reason why they got where they were, the opportunity to play and where they are, and knowing that the fact of they're going to have to go and do it all over again, and that's the bonus, and having that belief that they're going to come back again. But I'm just not seeing enough from him, to be honest, as a manager.
And for Mikel Arteta, it's tough balancing act to negotiate now, because there could be a rout on the cards. You could have a real confidence boosting win against Ipswich to get confidence up before that trip to Paris Saint-Germain and the game against Crystal Palace midweek, or you could take those players off, you can bring some of the kids on, and you can protect what you've got and sort of play the conservative approach to the next few weeks. How would you find that?
Well, I think every Arsenal fan, because everyone's suddenly gone rest mad in this game of football now, because they think footballers are digging roads for a living. I just think that he will somehow try and get those younger players on, maybe a few kind of players who maybe haven't had enough game time, the opportunity for them to go out and play in the top division. So that's what the fans want, what he wants. He might want a 4-5-0 at this moment in time as a manager, something to bounce off. So it's 6-1 half dozen the other. What he does, whatever happens, Arsenal are going to win this game of football.
Not the only game taking place today. Fulham 1-0 up on Chelsea. That was being watched by Barry Swain. Also Manchester United 0, Wolves 0. That game at Old Trafford. Not the most entertaining, as we heard from our analyst Rich Wolfenden, speaking to him at half-time. But there is still one game to come in the Premier League today. Leicester host Liverpool. Arsenal's result mean the Reds likely can't clinch the title today, but can take a huge step towards it. Arne Slot will have his preview, but first let's hear from Leicester boss Ruud van Nistelrooy.
No, but we have been in these circumstances for a longer time now. and that it's not a matter of mathematically it being done or not. It's about us showing ourselves in every possible way for every minute that we're in this league. So it doesn't affect that bit.
So we couldn't do many things better in the first half against West Ham. We could do a lot of things better in the second half. So during the start of the week we've worked on that a lot, and now we are working towards Leicester, one game at a time, and influence the one we can influence on, and that's the Leicester game.
The words there of Arne Slot, whose Liverpool side are marching towards the title. And Paul, just quickly, Arsenal, we've seen them here today. They've been brilliant. They haven't been made to work too hard for it. How do they take those coming steps, looking further forward, to sort of match what Liverpool have done this season?
Well, I think they'll say to themselves that they'll be disappointed as a club that the fact that they haven't gone and won it, looking how Liverpool are, it's been down to them. They haven't done it when it's mattered. Their biggest problem is about creating opportunities to score goals, and that's what's cost them in the end, really. So all they can do really is next season is go out and see if they can go and get those couple of players who will give them that extra edge to take them that next step. But there's other sides who have been poor this season who can only get better, so it'll be a tougher season for Arsenal to get the points they've got this season.
It's a tired point, I suppose, but what positions are you thinking they need to strengthen in?
Well, through the middle you'd look at in the middle of midfield that creativity as well, and then you might just even then look at them and you might talk about, they could even look at a left back. As much as what they've got there, they might even go down that line, even though they've got a supply of them. They might just look in that fullback area.
Arsenal today in complete control, then the players they've currently got certainly doing a job on Ipswich Town. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Fulham 1, Chelsea 0, Manchester United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, and Leicester versus Liverpool to come. Ben Jacobs and David Connolly are your commentary team for that one. A reminder, you can get in touch today on X at TalkSport Live, the best way to do that. And for the moment, Arsenal just staving off Liverpool's title parade at least for a week.
Welcome back to Old Trafford. Thank you very much to Matt Drabble and Paul Parker for keeping you entertained at half time, but we move away from Portman Road and back up here to Old Trafford. My name's Rich Wolfenden, and we are getting ready for the second half here between Manchester United and Wolves, and fingers crossed, touch wood, we get a little bit of Easter entertainment here at Old Trafford, because it was a pretty dreary first 45 minutes, to be honest. Just the one shot on target to talk about so far, that Christian Eriksen free kick, simply saved by Dan Bentley, who was called up during the pre-game warm-up to start today after Jose Sarr picked up a knock, preparing for this one. While the teams are out on the pitch, back in the Old Trafford sunshine. And before we kick off, I'll actually run you through the two sides' starting 11s. Firstly, Manchester United have Andre Onana in goal. The back three of Nasser Mazraoui, Victor Lindelof and young Tyler Fredrickson, who's making his Premier League debut today for Manchester United. Patrick Dorgu's in at right back. Harry Amas, making his second Premier League start, is in at left back. Manuel Ugarte and Christian Eriksen are in the middle. And in the attack, Alejandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo with Rasmus Højlund. Wolves have Dan Bentley in goal. It's Totti, Emmanuel Agbadou and Santiago Bueno in the back three for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Aït-Nouri on the left, Semedo on the right, João Gomez and Andre in the middle, with Marshall Menezes, Matheus Cunha and Jurgen Strand Larsen completing the away side's 11. As we get underway here at Old Trafford, and the chance of United commence. They need maybe a 12th man in this, Manchester United, to find an opening goal. And early on, we're going to get a Manchester United corner. Alejandro Garnacho bursting down the right, but unable to get away from the big Wolves defender Totti. Christian Eriksen will come across to take this corner for Manchester United. It'll be an outswinger. And it was a memorable header from Harry Maguire on Thursday night against Lyon. He's on the bench today. Can Lindelof or Fredrickson get on the end of this? Eriksen with a low one in towards the near post. There's a slip at the near post. Wolves want a free kick. Aït-Nouri looked like he was hauled to the ground there by Rasmus Højlund, and in fact it wasn't Højlund, it was Mainoo who pushed Aït-Nouri to the ground. It was Højlund who had the strike at goal. Corner again for Manchester United. Eriksson, a lot deeper this time, but easily away. Fredriksson was the target. Here's a mass. Garnacho with dancing feet against Munetsi. Can't get away from Wolves number 5 though. But Manchester United already with their third corner of this second half. Minute and a half played. Manchester United 0, Wolves 0 is the score. Supporters are up for this now. Attacking the Stretford end. Eriksson to take this corner. It's taken short to Garnacho. Cuts it back for Eriksson. A better angle on it. Fredriksson tries the flick on, and then the shot comes in from Mainu. Spins all the way out for Garnacho. That was rather lucky, but Manchester United keep it in. Alejandro Garnacho tries to find the angle, but Cunha quickly closes the door on that chance. Eriksson drills one in, deflects off Andre, but Agbadou's there to thump it away. Remember, you can get involved on social media this afternoon, if you so please. At TalkSport Live is our @ on X, if you want to get involved and let us know where you're listening. Manchester United just repositioning themselves defensively, allowing everyone to fall back into place before Tyler Fredriksson takes command of possession. Ugarte. It's a long ball forward by Dorgu. And there's a coming together, and there will be a free kick for Manchester United. They just look a little bit ragged at the start of this second half. Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's going to be a yellow card as well for Ryan Aït-Nouri. It was simply a long ball over the top, which the Manchester United man and the Wolves man chased after, and Aït-Nouri rather unnecessarily had an arm around his man. Free kick for Man United in a wide position. Eriksson to take, yet to deliver a 10 out of 10 cross, really, Christian Eriksson. What will he achieve on the scale with this one here? Only one man in the wall for Wolves. There's 5 in red at the back post. Only Højlund at the near post for Manchester United. Eriksson with his left arm aloft. Sends in the cross towards the near post. Højlund chests it down. The volley from Amas was completely missed. Tried to strike it first time, did Amas, but completely missed it, and Manchester United will get a free kick as Marshall Munetsi commits an unnecessary foul. Mainu. Amas. Garnacho. Back to Ugarte. Fredriksson. Mazraoui slips on the surface here at Old Trafford, but is able to still hold off Cunha on the halfway line. Eriksson goes back to Victor Lindelof. Strand Larsen will close down Onana. And now Tyler Fredriksson, left-footed, plays it out brilliantly to Alejandro Garnacho. Santiago Bueno biting at the Argentinian's heels. Garnacho spaced down the left-hand side here. It's a long ball over the top, but across comes Emmanuel Agbadou, and he very calmly gets his way between ball and man. Semedo tries the 1-2 with Andre, and it's just about kept in that by Nelson Semedo. This is looking promising for Wolves as Cunha picks it up 20 yards inside the Man United half. Jurgen Strand Larsen, he's got 3 in support, but he goes for goal himself. There's a narrow angle. Would have taken a lot to beat Andre Onana from there, but Jurgen Strand Larsen with the first strike on target in this game for Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was a powerful one, but it would have taken a lot to beat Onana, who simply just caught the ball in the end. Good save from the Cameroonian international. Given away though by Harry Amas. That's not very clever at all. Andre Semedo, right side of the pitch for Wolves. Santiago Bueno stepping into the midfield from defence. Semedo, Bueno on the halfway line. And now Agbadou to Totti. Wolves working it across from the right centre-back to the left centre-back. Andre closed down by Rasmus Højlund. Wolves enjoying a spell of possession at the beginning of the second half, because they've yet to enjoy much about this game in all honesty. There's Bentley. Now Totti looks uncomfortable, but Finds the pass into Joao Gomez, who tries to get onto the 1-2 with Aït-Nouri, but Aït-Nouri chases his own pass and gets there ahead of Eriksson. Aït-Nouri down the left-hand side. Strand Larsen's arriving, but he can't get past Mazraoui. Good tackle. Noussair Mazraoui playing right-sided centre-back today. And Patrick Dorgu alongside him as right-back did really well to stand up to the marauding Ryan Aït-Nouri. And speaking of marauding, here comes Alejandro Garnacho, who tries something too clever, and he really didn't have to do that because he had Bueno on toast, but decided to cut back, and Santiago Bueno simply just out-muscled him and won it back, stepping in. It's opening up now in the second half, though. Had a shot to talk about with just a few minutes on the clock. We didn't have one until around the half an hour mark from Christian Eriksen. Remember, 5 changes today for Manchester United from the side that won here against Lyon on Thursday night in extra time. Maybe a little bit of a hangover for several of these players. There's a lot of minutes in the legs. Here come Wolves. That's a good touch though from Aït-Nouri. It's Emmanuel Agbadou coming forward for Wolves. You don't really see him at left wing, and he's brilliant. He picked out Semedo on the right, up against Emas. Semedo, can he find the space? I think he did, but then cut back onto Harry Emas, who dives in with a slide challenge and brilliantly wins it back. And they love that sort of stuff here at Manchester United when one of their own gets in the mix. Here's Højlund. What a touch that is to spin away from Agbadou. Rasmus Højlund now. Totti comes across. Højlund into the penalty area. What a tackle by Totti. Solid defending from the big Wolves centre-back. And that's the first time in this game that we've seen Rasmus Højlund with an opportunity to run at the Wolves back line. And Totti, you have to say, did absolutely brilliantly to halt the run of the former Atalanta man. Great work from Totti Gomez. And that's the name you can hear being chanted. I have to say, the turn from Rasmus Højlund to find the space and to skip away from Emmanuel Agbadou is absolutely brilliant. A clever back heel to spin away from the Ivorian. Wolves enjoying the majority of the possession as Semedo sends one back towards his own goal, and goodness me, Dan Bentley was not stood in his goal. Gives a thumbs up to Nelson Semedo, who put a little bit more on that back pass than he would have wanted, and for a moment I thought Dan Bentley wasn't going to be able to get back to his goal to make that save. Probably goes down as one of the better opportunities in this game, in all honesty. Still Fulham 1, Chelsea 0, and 10-man Ipswich 0, Arsenal 2. Manchester United with 5 attempts at goal. Wolves with just the 2 to talk about. Here's Andre. Loops it over the top for Manetzi. Glances on his header looking for Cunha. Amas makes a mess of it but recovers, just about to clear it away. But then Eriksson, trying to pick up possession, concedes it to Joao Gomez, who's always there to sweep up for Wolves and pick up the ball. Here he is again, receiving it from Andre, his midfield partner. Here's Andre, 10 yards inside the Manchester United half. Totti, Aït-Nouri, Cunha flicks it back cleverly with his right foot into the path of Cunha, who's taken out by Dorgu, and has to be careful, Patrick Dorgu. It's very much on the cusp of a yellow card. In fact, it's over the cusp. Yellow card for Patrick Dorgu. Still a young man, Patrick Dorgu. You have to remember that, 20 years of age, only making his 7th Premier League appearance. Today is the young Dane, who was sent off on his own debut here in the defeat to Ipswich Town back in February, you may well remember. Just seen that chance for Rasmus Højlund again has opened up in front of us. Totti came across, wanted to put him on his left foot, did exactly that, and stopped the opportunity turning into anything serious. Yellow card though for Patrick Dorgu. Chance for Wolves to stick the ball in the box here though. not had any opportunity like this at Old Trafford today, and it comes to nothing because Ait Nouri is putting an absolute stinker of a cross, easily cleared away by Eriksson. Agbadou down the left for Ait Nouri, who'll keep that in. There's not many players in gold in the mix, but he's managed to earn a corner off Patrick Dorgu, and Wolves will get a chance once more to load the Manchester United penalty area. Gives a chance for Agbadou, Bueno and Totti all to make the long trip up from their penalty area to the Manchester United one. And Mateus Cunha is the man who stands over the ball in the quadrant. 6 in the mix for Wolves. Cunha to take the corner for the away side. It's a looping one to the near post. Oh, and it's glanced on by Jørgen Strand Larsen and almost into Andre Onana's far post. Well, he's obviously the big target man when playing from open play, but nobody picked him up. In fact, the last touch came off Victor Lindelof, I think it was. Came off a Manchester United man either way. It did, it bounced off Victor Lindelof's head and going for a corner on the opposite side now for Wolves. Promise here for the visitors. Ait Nouri into the near post, terrible again once more from Ryan Ait Nouri. And it looks like it's going to be a throw-in for Manchester United, is it? No, it's not. It's going to be a free kick for Manchester United. As the home side prepared to make a raft of changes. Looks like Diogo Dalot, Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes are coming on. Well, Kobbie Mainoo has managed 58 minutes here at Old Trafford this afternoon. His big moment. Probably not his biggest moment in Manchester United red, but still a very big moment nonetheless. Coming on Thursday night against Lyon. He's impressed. He's had a decent opportunity in this game to show what he can do, but not seen it often enough. Mainoo, Agate and Dorgu all off for Manchester United. And Agate has given the captain's armband to Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United captain on 9 assists and 8 goals this season, the most of Manchester United in the Premier League. He also now has the forever written in stone record of scoring the 5,000th goal at Old Trafford. That was the penalty against Lyon. Here's Andre, gets away from Christian Eriksen. Surprised his number didn't come up, to be honest. He doesn't often complete more than an hour, Christian Eriksen. Here's Semedo. Back with Bueno. Now Agbadou. Andre. There is a press from Manchester United, but it's not that intense. But with Mason Mount on, it's significantly more intense. Fernandes dives in, tries to win it back after Garnacho slips. Can't win it back, so Wolves have it once more. Nelson Semedo inside the Wolves half. An hour on the clock. Manchester United 0. Wolves 0 is the score. It's still 2-0 to Arsenal at Ipswich and still 1-0 to Fulham at Craven Cottage. Well, shots of Matthias de Ligt and Joshua Zirkzee on the monitor down in front of us. Both out through injury today. And de Ligt will be very disappointed. Zirkzee will be very disappointed considering his record of playing in every game. Here come Wolves. Strand Larsen tries to play it behind for Marshall Manetzi. Amas is there to clear it up though. Now Fredriksson, Garnacho, the youngsters working it well down the Manchester United left as Eriksson, experienced and significantly older than those three, clears it away. Here's Andre, wiped out by Mason Mount. Another ironic cheer from the away end. Bueno forward to Semedo, who glances it on. Manezzi will chase after that, but he's out-muscled once more by young Tyler Fredrickson. Bueno with a strong sliding tackle on Garnacho. He took the ball before he took the man, but Alejandro Garnacho certainly felt a touch from Santiago Bueno. So we'll have a look at the replay if there's anything malicious in it, but it doesn't look like it. It was a strong tackle from Bueno. He's in control of it. And yeah, maybe the follow through with his left foot just caught Alejandro Garnacho. Seems to be okay, the Argentinian. Nori trying to barge his way through Fernandes and Eriksson, but it's Eriksson's ball now with Fernandes. Right hand side with possession is Diogo Dalot, but he doesn't have it anymore. Joao Gomez has won it off him high. Dalot trying to recover. Joao Gomez keeps the ball. Right, Nori away from Mount and all the way back to Totti, and now Agbadou. Andre Agbadou, he's got to be careful here. Andre closed down by Eriksson. Semedo off the shins of Amas takes it into Fernandes' path. Very well done from the Man United captain. Eriksson stumbles over the ball but still picks out the pass to Garnacho. Very tight down the left for the Manchester United man. Into the 63rd minute of the game. Still 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Garnacho just takes one moment of brilliance or one mistake to find the opening goal. Eriksson, lovely touch to Garnacho into the back post for Højlund, who throws everything at it but can't get anything on it. A great cross in from Alejandro Garnacho. It's a big thumbs up from Rasmus Højlund, but the link-up play between Eriksson and Garnacho, absolutely beautiful, and he threw himself at it. He was just an inch or two taller. He would have been able to make the connection with Rasmus Højlund. There might have been a touch off Santiago Bueno's boots, which took it away from Højlund. The referee didn't spot it because he's given a goal kick, but goodness me, Rasmus Højlund, that's the closest he's come to breaking the deadlock. Mazraoui beats Cunha in the air. Up goes Fernandes with Strand Larsen. Strand Larsen wins it, and Cunha gets the second ball. He's trying to hold off Bruno Fernandes. Semedo sees the run being made by Cunha, but Mason Mount tracked him, but couldn't get the pass beyond Amas anyway. Here's Cunha. Flicks it inside under pressure from Eriksson. Andre, heavy touch. Eriksson down the line for Rasmus Højlund, who's been tussling all afternoon with the likes of Bueno and Agbadou. It was the Uruguayan who won it that time. Oh, that's a poor pass at the back by Agbadou. Gives it away to Eriksson. 5 in this attack for Manchester United. Mount, Eriksson, 2 on his right. One of them's Fernandes. The pass goes too far ahead of Fernandes. It's still alive though. 25 minutes to go. Dalot, low cross, easily cleared though by Emmanuel Agbadou. Simple as you like from the Wolves back line after their initial mistake, but it's giving the Manchester United support some belief. Mazraoui tripped by Joao Gomez, no foul. Fernandes tries the pinpoint pass, can't find the gap between Nori and Totti. Fernandes, lovely flick to get away from Jurgen Strand Larsen. Well, he often looks stressed and frustrated, Bruno Fernandes, the Manchester United captain. He lashes out, protests quite regularly, but today he's looking like he's enjoying himself in the sunshine. It's Tyler Fredrickson and Victor Lindelof. Mazraoui thinked over the top for Diogo Dalot. Thought about the early cross, took the early cross. Nobody in there at all for Manchester United. Don't think they were expecting the early cross in. Semedo can clear it away for a Man United throw in midway inside the Wolves half. Down the Man United left. Fredriksson to Eriksson. All of a sudden a very Scandinavian sounding Manchester United 11 with Rasmus Højlund up front as well. Patrick Dorgu did start this game in at right back, the young Dane. Got Chido Obi as well, of course, on the bench today. Might see him at some point this afternoon. Oh, and Andre's lost it in a dangerous area. Did well to recover though under pressure from Fernandes, who's then committed the foul on his man. In fact, I think it was Mason Mount who stepped on the toe of the Brazilian Andre. It's great when you've got the pace and desire to win the ball back, and yeah, just a late heel on the toe of Andre. It'll be a sore one in the morning, that's for sure. Still down on the floor, in fact. Well, he's now back on his feet, Andre. And seemingly okay. They certainly won't want to lose one of their finest midfielders in Andre. Brazil international, of course. 3 of them are Wolverhampton Wanderers. You'd have seen that when they were initially promoted some time ago now. They do have Tommy Doyle back on the bench today to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Carlos Forbes an option 2. Boubacar Traore. Plenty of options to call upon if they were to lose their number 7. Garnacho. Oh, and he's pulled up here, Alejandro Garnacho. Well, it doesn't look good at all. He was in full flow and then just stopped, and immediately he's clutching the back of his left ankle. He was caught in a tackle, so it might not necessarily be as bad as we thought it was. Maybe just a swipe across the ankle from the defender Santiago Bueno that caught him, and he did chase the ball but immediately dropped to his heels, Alejandro Garnacho. And initially I thought it could have been something a lot more serious, but it seems as if he's just carrying a knock. Is Alejandro Garnacho? Well, there's a change for Manchester United, and it's a very exciting one. Another young man entering the fray. Chido Obi will come on for Manchester United. This is 4th appearance of the season in the Premier League, after making his debut in the competition back in February in the defeat to Tottenham Hotspur. He's a Denmark under-21 international. He's yet to score for Manchester United. Brought on today to change that and change the outcome, as this game does feel very much so as if it's just sleepwalking towards a goalless draw. Wolverhampton Wanderers readying a couple of changes for themselves as well. Looks like Pablo Sarabia and Rodrigo Gomez are coming on for the visitors. Bentley clears it long. Menetzi gets his head on it. Strand Larsen wins the knockdown. And now João Gomez has a shirt pulled by Mason Mount, but rolls away from the former Chelsea man. And João Gomez. Now Aït-Nouri. Totti. That's a good ball forward to Mateus Cunha, who we've hardly seen in attacking positions in this game, but if anyone can turn it on in the blink of an eye for Wolves, it is the Brazilian international. Here's Nelson Semedo, dispossessed by Fredriksson. Well, there was a clear ball to the hand there against Alejandro Garnacho. Vitor Pereira absolutely furious that that wasn't given, and in the meantime Manchester United come forward with Mason Mount down the right hand side. He's all alone. Support arrives eventually in the form of Diogo Dalot. Bruno Fernandes. Now Mount, right hand side. Dalot surrounded by gold shirts. João Gomez makes the tackle. Manchester United just running out of steam when they get into the final third. Mount, Fernandes around the corner. Chido Obi cuts it back for Mount, who can't get there because Bueno's in the way, but it's still alive. It's cut back by Dallo to Fernandez, who takes a shot on the volley and kicks it straight into the ground. Probably wasn't set for the volley, but Dan Bentley makes the save very easily, just taking it into his chest, but the ball was in there to Chido Obi. It was a wonderful flick around the corner from the 17-year-old. There's a lot of excitement when Chido Obi comes on. He's got a great scoring record for the youth side at Manchester United. If he can translate even half of those goals into goals at senior level, Manchester United will have a forward on their hands. And here's Andre Onana. First touch for him in about 20 minutes or so, I'd have to say. Chido Obi, great hold-up play. Mount switches it to the left-hand side. Young Harry Amas now. Not seeing much of him getting forward in the second half. Garnacho. 2 against 2. Down the United left. Eriksson coming across now to make it 3 against 2. Garnacho. Eriksson, they're reluctant to throw it into the mix. And Manchester United. Fredriksson. Fernandez with a shot from the edge of the box. It was never going to beat the goalkeeper from there, and couldn't even get it towards the goalkeeper because in the way was Emmanuel Agbadou. Leandro Trossard has scored Arsenal's third. They now lead 3-0 against Ipswich Town down in Suffolk. Man United popping the ball around very nicely. Fernandez out to Dallo, back for Mount. Eriksson wants it, but Fernandez gets it back. Closed down by Joao Gomez. Plays it inside. Chido Obi, Mount, Garnacho, promising here for Man United. Oh, and it's scuffed horribly wide. Bruno Fernandes with his head in his hands. It's by far and away the best move of the game from either side. And of course, it involved Bruno Fernandes. He swung at it with his left foot. I think, in fairness to him, it bounced up in front of him on the turf. And it did. It bounced up onto his shin and he scuffed it wide. Not a clean strike from Bruno Fernandes when he needed it most.
22, Nelson Semedo. Is number 19, Rodrigo Gomez.
Well, Jurgen Strand Larsen is one of the 2 players coming off for Wolves. Looks as if Nelson Semedo is the second player to come off, but Pablo Sarabia coming on. He's got plenty of experience. Rodrigo Gomez, not as much experience, but plenty of talent nonetheless. Both can make a significant difference in this one this afternoon. 16 minutes to go. Manchester United 0, Wolves 0. Not a Premier League classic, I've got to be honest with you. Wolves in brilliant form coming into this. Remember, 4 wins on the bounce, including that 4-2 win against Spurs the last time out. Manchester United not been great in the Premier League, but back at Old Trafford after Thursday's dramatic win against Lyon. How often do you score a 120th minute equaliser and a 121st minute winner? Not often at all, especially in the quarterfinals of a major European competition. Here's Mateus Cunha, spins away from Tyler Fredriksson. Sarabia sends it down the right hand side, looking for the run of Rodrigo Gomez. The substitute tenacious, chasing down the ball. Onana, Mazraoui, right side of the penalty area, clears it away. Fernandez is there to receive. Given away by Mazraoui, not clever at all. Giving it to Andre. Cunha spins away from his man. It might open up here for Mateus Cunha, who has his shirt pulled right on the edge of the D by Christian Eriksen, who will take a yellow card for his troubles. Cunha's actually gone down in pain here. Might have had his ankle clipped as well by the Dane. It's a yellow card, and the first one of the day for the home side. I think it was more of the way that Cunha fell, where he hurt himself. He was having his shirt pulled, he was having his arm pulled as well. Christian Eriksen, don't think he particularly likes chasing Brazil internationals back towards his penalty area. And this is a very promising position for Wolves. It's about 2 or 3 yards outside the penalty area. Referee Rob Jones just marking out the yards where the Manchester United wall will stand. Andre Onana with only one save in this game, and that was a relatively straightforward one from an impossible angle. Joao Gomez and Pablo Sarabia stand over it. Can they find a goal here? The corner away to my right here at Old Trafford is full of those travelling Wolves supporters. And they're going to go absolutely bonkers if this goes in. Plenty of time to weigh this one up. It looks as if Pablo Sarabia is the man who's standing over it. The experienced Spaniard stands over it. It's Sarabia! Oh, and he's found the top corner! It's simply stunning from Sarabia. He's only been on the pitch a matter of minutes and has immediately impacted this game here at Old Trafford. And the Wolves train is not stopping at this station. On course for 5 Premier League victories on the bounce. Andre Onana, grasping at thin air, sees it flash past him. Manchester United 0, Wolves 1.
Substitution for United.
Pablo Sarabia hitting it to perfection. Well, he won't hit a better one than that all season. Pablo Sarabia over the wall, into the top corner, away from Onana. And the scenes in the away end are jubilant ones. What a strike. What a strike from Pablo Sarabia. He's played in Champions League finals. He's won Copa del Rey's. Now he's doing it at Old Trafford for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, what a moment. At long last, we have a goal to talk about. 12 minutes to go. What a Manchester United got in their locker as they look to come from behind for the second time in 4 days. And here's Mason Mount down the right hand side, trying to immediately make something happen, but can't get past Joao Gomez. He is absolutely superb at just spotting danger and dealing with it. Big high five as well from Totti Gomez. Well, Lindelof is the man who's going off for Manchester United. Lenny Yoro has come on. Doesn't really feel like the time or place to make a defensive change, but of all the players that could have impacted this game, they haven't. Bruno Fernandes, the man who's going to have to do it all, you'd imagine, once more for Manchester United, as Harry Amas takes down Rodrigo Gomez. And it's going to be a yellow card for the 18-year-old. He's had a good first half as Harry Amas, but he's not had a good second half. Yeah, he's not going to get away with that. It's a clear clip after I see the replay on the monitor down in front of me. A man who joined from Watford a couple of years ago into the Manchester United youth ranks. And gets a book into his name. His first one in professional football. And in fact, there's been a yellow card shown to Pablo Sarabia. I presume that's for some kind of protest towards the foul made. Well, they don't get too many glory days here at Old Trafford to the Wolves supporters. In goes the free kick. It's deep onto the back post. It's headed away by Mazraoui. Mount will get the second ball as well before Agbadou. Strong work though from Menezzi to win it back. Aït-Nouri left hand side, crosses it in. It's taking a deflection on it. Fredrickson's got to be careful. Bueno's behind him. He deals with it temporarily. Menezzi gets the second ball. Now Aït-Nouri goes down by Mazraoui. Sarabia around the corner for Menezzi. Danger here for Manchester United. It's Bueno. It's a cross for Rodrigo Gomez. Numbers back now. Edge of the penalty area, left-footed. Bends one into the hands of Andre Onana. But since that goal, Wolves are looking even more threatening, if anything. Manchester United can either get out their half as João Gomez trips Mason Mount, and they will get a chance to take command of the ball. Once again, Manchester United. Wolves will go level on points with Manchester United if they keep hold of this victory, incidentally. And it's a historic fixture, is this one. And you have to go back to January 2022 when Wolves last beat Manchester United. João Moutinho scoring the winner that day under the management of Bruno Lage. Cristiano Ronaldo couldn't do anything about that one. Here's Harry Mas. Back to Lenny Yoro. Chelsea have equalised at Craven Cottage. And here's Fredriksson. Now on. All long by Yoro. Mount wins the flick onto Chido Obi. He's got so much strength about him. Holds it up to Eriksson. Plays it out to the left for Harry Amas. He's got time to weigh up a good cross here, Harry Amas. Instead, he's got Garnacho in support, but Amas continues his run into the middle. Now finds Garnacho away from Andre. It's Alejandro Garnacho, cut back for Bruno Fernandes, and it's over the top. In fact, it was Mason Mount who got the strike in at goal, and he really swung his left foot at it, had no composure whatsoever, just needed to find the target, control the strike, and he couldn't. He hurried it, he panicked, and he sent it where. Terrible technique from Mason Mount. He's not at the best of times since joining for £60 million in the summer of 2023 from Chelsea. This is sixth consecutive appearance in all competitions for Mason Mount, after missing out for a good 3 months. Here's Sarabia, dispossessed by Mazraoui. Santiago Bueno back to Agbadou. 83 minutes played. Man United 0, Wolves 1. It's been an even game, but Manchester United have taken their Wolves have taken their opportunity. A wicked free kick from Pablo Sarabia. Fernandes to Mazraoui. Well, it feels very familiar, this, as Manchester United struggle to get back into the game. But this is how it looked on Thursday, and he's managed to get back into it. Dan Bentley taking every second that he can with the ball in his hands. This will of course change next season when the referees will be more stringent about time wasting by goalkeepers. Big header one at the back by Fredriksson, but it comes all the way through to the Wolves defence. That's a heavy touch. Harry Amas picks up the ball and skips away from Sarabia. Very nicely done by the teenager. Garnacho back for Eriksson. Garnacho around the corner for Harry Amas. They want to flag the Wolves defence, they don't get it. Eriksson, what a cross that is with the outside of the boot, and it's somehow spun wide for a goal kick. Mason Mount threw himself at it. I think the Wolves defender maybe got the ball before Mount, but then the ball came off Mason Mount and behind for a goal kick. What a cross by Eriksson though. It was outside of the right boot into the mix, and Bentley colliding with Mount is what's injured the former Chelsea man. Oof, yeah, it's a kick of the ankle by Rodrigo Gomez and a right boot into the thigh from Dan Bentley. Long ball forward. Fredriksson wins the header head of Ericsson. He's gone down with cramp as the young defender. So Wolves will pump it out that way towards him to test him. Amas wins the header, doesn't know where it dropped, but still able to keep possession despite the pressure from Rodrigo Gomez. Garnacho. It's a round of applause from Ruben Amorim. 3.5 minutes to go. Manchester United staring down the barrel of yet another disappointing Old Trafford performance in the Premier League. There's Fernandes. Out wide, looking for Harry Amas, who gets his head on it to keep it in, but can't keep control of it. Now Gomez, Rodrigo Gomez, plays it against Ericsson and gives it away, and now he's got to get back as Amas comes forward. Garnacho down the left-hand side for Man United, cutting inside onto his right foot. Scoops one out to the right, looking for Diogo Dalot. It's not a good ball, though. Ainori can win it, and then Sarabia can kick it against Dalot. And out for a Wolves throw-in. 3 minutes to go. Wolves closing in on 5 wins on the trot in the Premier League. Peter Pereira. There are a lot of question marks raised when he was signed up to be the man who would keep them in the Premier League. And goodness me, he has done some job. Here's Tyler Fredrickson, who's performed exceptionally well, you have to say, at centre-back today. He's not put a foot wrong. It's not really been a game where he's been tested too much, but what he has had to do, he's done it very well. Here's Diogo Dalot back to Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, Mazraoui. This is all happening in the middle of the Wolves half. Dalot to Fernandes, Mount. 3 players in the middle if he can find a cross. He can't. In the way is Matt Doherty. Here's Lenny Yoro joining the midfield. Wolves with a back 6 at the moment. Here's Harry Amas. Inside to Ericsson. And now Fernandes. Back to Ericsson. They're passing it around a bit quicker now, Manchester United. Garnacho crosses it in. Hits Bueno. Goes behind for a corner. Very nicely done by Manchester United. Looked good on the eye, but wasn't very effective, in all honesty. Final minute of the game. 8th corner of the match for Manchester United. Stretford End believes. There'll be an Ericsson corner for Manchester United towards the near post, headed away by Bueno. As far as Garnacho, Rodrigo Gomez is able to get his head on it. Sarabia will chase it down, and Fernandes will come across and watch it roll out for United throw-in. I'm not imagining much added on at the end of this second half. Maybe 3 minutes max, I would say. And here's Amas. He's looked good as well down the left-hand side for Manchester United. Fredrickson. Mazraoui. Mount to Ericsson. Gets his head on it, but there was too much on it and only nodded out for a Wolverhampton Wanderers throw-in down their right-hand side. And it is all playing wonderfully into the hands of Vita Pereira and Wolverhampton Wanderers.
The referee has indicated a minimum of 6 minutes of added time.
Well, I didn't see that coming at all. 6 minutes of injury time here for Manchester United to find an equaliser. And they believe all of a sudden. Dalot out wide to Garnacho on the right hand side now. Good tackle over by Matt Doherty. Dalot dispossessed by Joao Gomez, and the supporters behind the goal can't quite believe that the linesman has given that as a goal kick. Dalot can't believe it. Joao Gomez celebrates like he scored a goal. On his knees, fist pumping Joao Gomez. He's been brilliant today. Once more for Wolverhampton Wanderers. We see the replay here. Who did the last touch come off of? Oh, it's hard to say for sure. Well, Chelsea look like they've nicked it at Craven Cottage, an injury time goal by Pedro Neto seems to have done it there, but it's his former team here at Old Trafford who are on course to win. Off goes Yoro, great header by the substitute. Fredrickson out-muscled by Cunha. Amas would be tackled by the Brazilian. Well, he's just come back from suspension, Mateus Cunha. It'd be good if he did something a little bit more sensible. Arsenal have also got a fourth in the final few minutes at Ipswich Town. Ethan Nwaneri with the fourth from that one. Wicked deflection on it, might not get credited it. Into the second minute of injury time here. Bruno Fernandes. Lenny Yoro on the halfway line. Eriksson, first time pass into Fernandes, who gets clattered once the free kick, doesn't get it. Instead, Wolves come away on the counter. Cunha, he's got Gomez screaming for it down the right hand side. Here is Rodrigo Gomez up against the mass. Rodrigo Gomez cuts it back, and there's no one there in goal. It's Bruno Fernandes who has it, and now Wolves have to get back into their defensive shape because Mazraoui's coming forward on the counter. Dalot floats one to the back post. Mount, brilliantly controlled by the your former Chelsea man, and then he gets pushed in the back by Cunha, who is really showing too much aggression in these final minutes, and concedes a free kick in a very silly position. It might be too far out to shoot, but never say never. Mason Mount doing very well to hold up the ball and hold off the challenge of Cunha, and drawing the Brazilian into a foul. And in fact, that's his final action of the game from Mateus Cunha. Nasa Giga is coming on. The centre-back who's coming on for a forward. There's only one thing in the mind of Vita Pereira now. Rodrigo Gomez, though, no complaints about him whatsoever, making that running behind, latching onto that through ball by Mateus Cunha. It was an excellent pass, but just nobody there in goal, which is a real shame. But Nasa Giga's on to make his fourth Premier League appearance. Man who joined from Red Star Belgrade on deadline day back in February. He's actually played in the Champions League this season, scoring against PSV back in January, would you believe. He's got 3 minutes of defending to do here. Bruno Fernandes stands over the free kick. It's within shooting distance. It's Fernandes. He does shoot, and all he does is find the supporters behind Dan Bentley's goal. Very, very disappointing from captain Magnifico Fernandes. And Ruben Amorim showing a very familiar expression in the technical area for Manchester United, and it's one of worry and it's one of disappointment. All too familiar. Still, the supporters get a bit of a cheer out of Dan Bentley slipping, taking that goal kick. Here's Andre Onana. Oh, and it's a poor clearance from Onana. Manetzi. Rodrigo Gomez. Could they seal it here, Wolverhampton Wanderers? Andre gets away from Chido Obi, plays it for Manetzi, but the pass is too heavy, and it will go behind for an Onana goal kick, who will breathe a sigh of relief that that came to nothing. Manchester United haven't won in over a month now. Last win coming on the 16th of March away to Leicester City. Not exactly the toughest of opposition, in all honesty. Certainly when it comes to the Premier League. Final minute. Supporters inside Old Trafford trying to just get every ounce of enthusiasm from them and rub it off on the Manchester United players. It's a back seven at the moment for Wolves. They play a 7-3 formation. Fernandes with a cross in. Cleared by Agbadou at the near post. It's not gone yet for Manchester United because Eriksson has it 10 yards outside the penalty area. Fredrickson, it's now or never for Manchester United if they're to equalise. Amas, they need to get it into the box. Fredrickson resistant, hesitant. Garnacho, can he beat a man? He cuts it back instead. Bruno Fernandes. Eriksson sends it in left footed. It's a wicked cross, takes a deflection, goes behind for a Manchester United corner. We've had the 6 minutes that were indicated played, but it looks as if we do have time for a Manchester United corner here. Fernandes will come across to the far side to take. Everybody up, bar Andre Onana. Fernandes out swinging. Fredrickson gets his head on it. Amas knocks it down for Garnacho. Garnacho, can he do something magic here? No, he can't. Great tackle. And in fact, the foul's gone against Alejandro Garnacho just inside the penalty area. And the Wolves defender who's down injured is going to milk every single second that they can out of this game. But that looks as if it's it here at Old Trafford. And I think once Dan Bentley takes this free kick, the whistle will blow. Well, you can hear the name being chanted by the away end here at Old Trafford. O Vita Pereira is the chant. He's come in and he's saved their skin. Incidentally, Ipswich Town are losing 4-0 at Arsenal, so the gap opens up even more between Wolves and the bottom three. Bentley's free kick goes long. The whistle and the cheer indicate that it is full time here at Old Trafford. Well, it was party time on Thursday night, but the hangover is very much here on Easter Sunday for these Manchester United supporters. A very flat game, in all honesty. It had a real end of season kind of tailing off vibe about it, but the away end are celebrating a famous victory, their first win here at Old Trafford in 3 years, and it all came from a wonderful free kick by substitute Pablo Sarabia. Manchester United made very little. Højlund had a great chance in the first half, which he couldn't take. Dan Bentley, who came in after Jose Sarr picked up an injury in the pre-match warm-up, keeps a clean sheet at Old Trafford in his first appearance of the season. Could well prove to be his final one, as his contract is up at the end of the season. He'll be thrilled, as will those in gold this afternoon. It finishes here, Manchester United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, as we now head to Portman Road to catch the end of Ipswich Town versus Manchester United, with Matt Drabble and Paul Parker.
Warning, dangerous opinions ahead.
Stand by to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on Sirius XM 87.
For Sirius XM Sports, I'm Ryan Payton. You know, there's no doubt that Barry Bonds is a controversial figure, so much so that Major League Baseball's all-time leader in home runs is still not in the Hall of Fame. But there's also no denying the amazing things he did on the field. His 762 home runs are more than anyone has ever hit, 73 coming in the 01 campaign, which is still the all-time record for a single season. But maybe the most remarkable thing about Bonds was how much opposing teams feared him. He walked 2,558 times, which is another Major League record. That's more than 1,000 walks than the 1,539 times he struck out. He was so good that he was walked intentionally 688 times. Of those walks, 41 came with the bases empty, 1 came with the bases loaded. His career was so amazing that the 2001 season, in which he hit 73 jacks, may not have even been his season. That probably came in 04, when Bonds posted an on-base plus slugging percentage of 1.422. That is also a single season Major League record. And Bonds did this at the age of 39. Now, many suspect him taking performance-enhancing drugs, just like so many others around the game at the time did. But none of them were able to do anything close to what Barry Bonds did. He had all facets of the game. He was a 5-tool player, and he was one of the best. For Sirius XM Sports, I'm Ryan Payton.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. Sirius XM Fight Nation, Sirius XM 156, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM sports schedule for Sunday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the EPL, 9 a.m., Fulham takes on Chelsea with the Fulham feed on Internet 1940, Chelsea on Internet 1925. 9 a.m., Ipswich faces Arsenal, Ipswich on Internet 1945, Arsenal on Internet 1900, national feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. 9 a.m., Manchester United faces Wolverhampton. Manchester United on Internet 1965. Wolverhampton on Internet 1995. 11:30 a.m. Leicester faces Liverpool. Leicester on Internet 1950. Liverpool on Internet 1955. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 157. In F1 racing starting at 1 p.m. catch full coverage of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix on Sirius XM and Internet channels 81. In Major League Baseball, 1:35 p.m. Atlanta Braves take on the Minnesota Twins. Braves on Sirius 208 XM 175 and Internet 842. Twins on Internet 857. 1:35 p.m. Baltimore Orioles take on the Cincinnati Reds. Orioles on Sirius 209 XM 176 and Internet 843. Reds on Internet 847. 1:35 p.m. Boston Red Sox face the Chicago White Sox. Red Sox on Sirius 210 XM 177 and Internet 844. White Sox on Internet 846. 1:35 p.m. Philadelphia Phillies take on the Miami Marlins. Phillies on Sirius 211 XM 178 and Internet 860. Marlins on Internet 855. 1:35 p.m. Pittsburgh Pirates face the Cleveland Guardians. Pirates on Sirius 137 XM 179 and Internet 861. Guardians on Internet 848. 1:37 p.m. Toronto Blue Jays face the Seattle Mariners. Blue Jays on Sirius 119 XM 180 and Internet 868. Mariners on Internet 864. 1:40 p.m. Detroit Tigers face the Kansas City Royals. Tigers on Sirius 160 XM 181 and Internet 850. Royals on Internet 852. 1:40 p.m. New York Mets face the St. Louis Cardinals. Mets on Sirius 161 XM 182 and Internet 858. Cardinals on Internet 865. 1:40 p.m. Tampa Bay Rays face the New York Yankees. Rays on Sirius 113 XM 183 and Internet 866. Yankees on Internet 859. 2:10 p.m. Milwaukee Brewers face the A's. Brewers on Sirius 139 XM 184 and Internet 856. A's on Internet 841. 2:20 p.m. Chicago Cubs take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Cubs on Sirius 138 XM 185 and Internet 845. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 2:35 p.m. Texas Rangers face the LA Dodgers. Rangers on Sirius 106 XM 186 and Internet 867. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish feed on Sirius 162 XM 187 and Internet 870. 3:10 p.m. Colorado Rockies take on the Washington Nationals. Rockies on Sirius 85 XM 188 and Internet 849. Nationals on Internet 869. 4:07 p.m. LA Angels take on the San Francisco Giants. Angels on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 853. Giants on Internet 863. 7:10 p.m. Houston Astros take on the San Diego Padres. Astros on Sirius 208 XM 175 and Internet 851. Padres on Internet 862. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 89. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM sports schedule for Sunday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check Sirius XM.
What's up, soccer fans, football fans, Manchester United fans from all over the world? Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever it is you're watching from all over the world. Thank you for hanging out with us here. Big shout out to SOP True on TikTok. Make sure you go check out True and what he does over there with the unbelievable goal scoring techniques that he shows, the tactics, all of that stuff, and as well, Sons of a Pitch Soccer and Manchester United content coming very, very soon right there on SOP True on TikTok. Make sure you've checked it out. Make sure you DM True if you want to play EAFC and have him play your games for you to get the best results, the best rewards in the business. Now let's get to the game at hand today. Manchester United up against Wolves. Can they get the victory? It's going to be a tough one, but saving all the pieces for that semifinal against Atletico Bilbao in the Europa League coming up. What a thrilling victory that was. Make sure you check out all of the live content. We had the game live, and we had a recap of the Newcastle game talking about the second leg. True was telling you all about it. So make sure to check out our MUFC Central episodes as well. Go Manchester United, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
Inaugural season. A year later, maybe the most famous of all Dodger rookie pitchers was none other than Fernando Valenzuela. The native of Mexico exploded onto the scene, going 13-7 in the shortened 1981 season. He had 11 complete games and 8 shutouts. That also nabbed him the Cy Young Award. Valenzuela went 3-1 in the postseason as the Dodgers won the 1981 World Series. Steve Sachs didn't pitch, but he still won Rookie of the Year honors for LA in 82. The second baseman hit .282 in 150 games. For it happened in baseball, in LA, I'm Mick Kern.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM, Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM sports schedule for Sunday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NBA playoffs, 1 p.m., Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Memphis Grizzlies. Thunder on Sirius and XM channels 86 Internet 900, Grizzlies on Sirius and XM channels 92 Internet 894, national feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 80. 3:30 p.m. Boston Celtics take on the Orlando Magic. Celtics on Sirius and XM channels 86 Internet 881, Magic on Sirius and XM channels 82 Internet 901. 7 p.m., Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Miami Heat. Cavs on Sirius and XM channels 86 Internet 885, Heat on Sirius and XM channels 81 Internet 895. 9:30 p.m., Houston Rockets face the Golden State Warriors. Rockets on Sirius and XM channels 86 Internet 890, Warriors on Sirius and XM channels 81 Internet 889. In the NHL playoffs, 3 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the New Jersey Devils. Hurricanes